stand for the invocation by the Reverend Tyrone L. Johnson, pastor of New Oak Grove Missionary Baptist Church. If Reverend Johnson could come forward, please. Thank you, sir. And after the invocation, everyone would remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Reverend, we thank you for being here.
Thank you. Let's bow our heads. Gracious God in heaven, we thank you. We come again and invite and invoke your presence in this council meeting. We realize, God, that we still stand before a holy God because you are omnipresent. You're everywhere at the same time. We pray on tonight, Lord God, that you will bless our mayor, that you will bless our city manager, that you will bless every councilwoman and councilman in this place on today. And God, when we begin to discuss the things that is on the agenda, we pray, God, that we would do it decently and in order. We thank you on tonight, God, because you simply are good and good all the time. Again, God, thank you. We bless your name and have your way in this place. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Reverend, we thank you again for coming down. Appreciate it very much. I'd also like to recognize Scout Troops 443, 408, and 301, if they could stand up and be recognized being here with us tonight. You've got the roll call, Madam Clerk. Yeah. Correct. At this time, I'd ask Charlie and Paige Hassan if they could come forward, please. It's nice to have you all with us this evening. And as I read this proclamation, I want you to know that it comes from everyone's up here at this dais. Whereas Kathleen Dean Hassan was born and raised in Virginia Beach, Virginia, and attended Virginia Beach Public Schools. And whereas for more than 39 years, Kathleen has been a dedicated member of the City of Virginia Beach family. And whereas through her personal initiative and perseverance, Kathleen's career progression consists of roles as secretary, council docket clerk, administrative assistant, and her current position as assistant to the city manager for community affairs. Whereas Kathleen was the city's first wellness coordinator and tasked with helping to improve the health of the organization by fostering an environment to increase personal growth and development. And whereas the results of her efforts was the dedication of 2 walking paths at the Municipal Center, the publication of Body Talk devoted to wellness, creation of a biking program, and many more mental and physical fitness programs. And whereas while working for the City of Virginia Beach, Kathleen attended night classes at Old Dominion University, and in 1984 received a bachelor's degree in business administration. And whereas Kathleen became the voice of reason on the other end of the line when dealing with a complaint or concern and assisted the city members, the mayor, and city council in responding to the concerns of their constituents. Whereas not only was Kathleen an excellent ombudsman for our citizens, responding to their wide range of concerns with speed, accuracy, and empathy, she was also a dedicated advocate for city staff and departments, taking the time to explain staff's position and defending their professionalism. And whereas with questions and complaints on topics from animals to zoning, Kathleen has been documenting citizen inquiries since the mid-1980s in a computerized database which provides access to statistical breakdowns on each entry. Whereas because of her expertise in public image and customer relations, she was tasked to present the Virginia Innovation Group workshop on improving customer relations, tools, and techniques, and participated on the city's customer inquiry process management team to enhance quality service throughout the city. Whereas in addition to handling customer inquiries, Kathleen manages the City Hall of Fame selection and recognition program, coordinates the weekly council agenda, prepares the budget for the city manager's office, and oversees expenditures, serves as the department's training representative, drafts and updates office policies, and has become the go-to person when staff and council needs guidance on addressing problematic issues. And whereas through her years of service, Kathleen has been dedicated to helping others as evidenced by her involvement in the United Way, mediation program, and servicing the homeless. Whereas during Kathleen's tenure with the City of Virginia Beach, She was a devoted wife and mother. Now, therefore, I, William D. Sussmans, Jr., Mayor of the City of Virginia Beach, Virginia, do hereby proclaim December 1st, 2015, Kathleen D. Hassan Day in Virginia Beach, and I encourage all employees to extend their gratitude and congratulations to our colleague and friend as she retires from the City of Virginia Beach with all the best wishes for the future. May I present this to you all? Some gifts for her. And this one. But if I could just add, please let Kathleen know that she was just a true asset for this city. In my opinion, she was one of the main reasons this city is the greatest city in the world, because she cares about this city and loves this city so much. In addition, Mr. Spohr, I believe you have a presentation to make, please.
Just briefly, Mayor, I want to thank Mayor and Council for the recognition for Kathleen. It's certainly well-deserved, and I have here a certificate for acknowledging her service of over 39 years and her retirement pin. I wanted to present to her personally. That's not going to be possible, so I would like to present it to Paige and to Charlie tonight and just say, I work closely with Kathleen every single day, and I've never known a more dedicated, committed employee, and it was just an honor to work with her.
Mayor Sessoms, I hope I can get through this.
You can.
Vice Mayor Jones, members of council, Mr. Spohr, my name is Charlie Hassan. With me tonight are my daughters, Paige Hassan, and in spirit, Leslie Hassan. She couldn't make it tonight. We are honored to be here for my wife and their mother, Kathleen, to receive this proclamation. Kathleen wishes she could be here tonight to thank you personally. She has enjoyed working with each of you and will miss future opportunities to assist you, her co-workers, and the citizens of Virginia Beach. In 1976, the city was very different as viewed by a 21-year-old Kathleen, working for the city manager, George Hanbury. For the next 39 and a half years of Kathleen's adult life, she saw tremendous changes in the city. She is so proud to have been able to support all of the past councils and administrations, particularly Jim Spohr. She feels so fortunate to have worked in the best city in the world.
She made it that way.
Thank you for this proclamation and the thoughtfulness expressed by so many. Thank you.
When you go home, you tell her everyone at this dais loves her to death. Please.
And she'd like
Thank you. Okay, do we have our special guests?
Yes, we do. They just arrived.
Okay. If Mayor Polino and Councilman Jonathan G. Manello could come forward. As you know, we've seen Mayor Polino before and Councilman Manello. They are part of our sister cities in Olongapo, and we welcome them, and we're glad to have them. Mayor, would you like to say anything?
Okay, it says you relax. Well, the Honorable William Sessom, Mayor of Virginia Beach, the honorable members of the City Council, Actually, I have a prepared speech, but it's 5 pages. So I'm not reading it anymore.
I know better. You're too much like me. You don't have that.
Well, we're very, very happy and proud that we become a part of the sister cities of Virginia Beach and the part of Southeast Asia, the only city in part of Southeast Asia where we have the Virginia Beach as our sister city. And just like to thank, of course, the members of the council, the people of Virginia Beach, and of course, the members of the city council, Councilman Hammond and Councilman Woods, who happen to been in Olongapo, and of course, our special thanks, of course, to Miss Ruth Fraser. I think she deserves all the applause from people of Olongapo. And of course, Roy and Naomi Staris. And of course, a special guy, Mr. Warren Harris, who's been there and doing great for our economic trade. And of course, we also have one of the best beach in the world, of course, next to Virginia Beach.
There you go. There you go.
We also have the best looking people, of course, next to Virginia Beach. And we have the best looking mayor, same as the mayor of Virginia Beach.
Thank you, Mayor.
So thank you so much, and we're happy to be here. And I hope the friendship and the brotherhood between Virginia Beach and Olongapo will continue a long, long time, more than our lifespan. Thank you so much, and good evening.
Very good. And I think you know that my wife will be joining you all shortly. I might be here for a while. Okay?
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Glad to have you. We have a motion for the certification of the closed session.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? I'll call for the question, please.
By a vote of 11 to 0, you have approved, or you have certified the closed session in accordance with the motion to recess.
Do I have a motion for approval of the minutes of the informal and formal sessions of November 17th, 2015?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Call for the question, please.
By a vote of 11 to 0, you have approved the minutes as submitted.
I'm going to open a public hearing on the sale of excess property at Princess Anne and Winterberry Lane.
Your Honor, we don't have any speakers on that item.
Didn't think so. All right, I'll now move forward to the consent agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor.
Under ordinances and resolutions for consent, I'd like to move approval, item 1, ordinance to amend the city code to comply with the Virginia Code and to adjust the descriptions and authorizations of emergency medical services and fire. Item 2, which is an ordinance.
We had to pull that.
No, on item 3, I meant to say, excuse me. Item 3, an ordinance to declare land at Princess Anne Road and Winterberry Lane to be excess and authorize the necessary documents for conveyance to Why Not LLC. And Madam Clerk, please note that the mayor is abstaining on that item.
Yes, Your Honor.
Item 4, ordinance to authorize a temporary encroachment into city-owned property on Central Park Avenue to TCA Block 4 Retail LLC in the Bayside District. Item 5, an ordinance to allow a 6-month extension to satisfy conditions of a previously approved closure of Circle Lane as requested by Thomas C. and Lisa D. McKee. And item 6, which is ordinances to reappropriate and transfer school funding, A, $12,894,051 in fiscal year 2014-15 reversion funds, B, $1,776,265 within the fiscal year 2015-16 schools budgets, $367,094 within the fiscal year 2015-16 Green Run Collegiate Charter School Fund.
Open a public hearing for planning.
Under planning for consent, item 1, which is the Christine Werner and Pembroke Office Park LP for modification of conditions of a conditional use permit re-expansion of a vocational school at 281 Independence Boulevard in the Bayside District. 2, the application of BJ's Wholesale Club and Birchwood Mall Associates, et cetera, for modification of condition number 4 of a conditional use permit rate and auto service to allow electronic display of fuel prices at 3712 Virginia Beach Boulevard in the Lynn Haven District. Item 3, application of Robert McNichols and Reverend Francis X. Lorenzo, Bishop of Richmond, for modification of conditions of a conditional use permit rate housing for seniors, Marion Manor, to add a chapel at 5345 Marion Lane in the Kempsville District. Item 4 is the application of Porpoise LLC and Leslie G. Shaw Jr. for renewal of a conditional use permit, Ray Skate Park at 1905 Cypress Avenue in the Beach District. Madam Clerk, if you please note that the mayor is abstaining on item 4. Item 5, the Bayside Concrete, Inc. and Bruce H. Gould for a conditional use permit, Ray a bulk storage yard at 408 Davis Street in the Kempsville District. Item 6, Sheila Marie Bolenbacher for a conditional use permit, Ray a home daycare at 2492 Seven Kings Road in the Rose Hall District. Item 7, which is the application of Why Not LLC in the City of Virginia Beach for a conditional change of zoning from AG2 to conditional B2, Ray a restaurant at Princess Anne and Winterberry Lane in the Princess Anne District. Madam Clerk, please note that the mayor is abstaining on item 7. Item 8, which is street closures, Ray portions of the unimproved rights-of-way of Holly Road at 48th Street in the Beach District. A, Holly Road LLC, and B, Dr. Jack Siegel and Lisa A. Bertini. And item 9, which is for deferral to the first meeting in January, is the amendment of Section 801, the city zoning ordinance, Ray Farm Stand. So moved, Mr. Mayor.
I have a motion to have a second.
Second.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor, I believe there may have also been an abstention on item K1.
Abstaining? Yes. I thought you said it.
K1.
You made a note? I did.
1, 4, and 7.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, is there any discussion? Call for the question, please.
By a vote of 11 to 0, you have adopted the consent agenda and noted the abstentions of the mayor.
We will now go to public comment. The first item will be Town Center Phase 6. I have some speakers.
Yes, Your Honor, we have Diana Howard, and the next speaker would be Frank Papagun. And the third speaker will be...
All speakers will be limited to 3 minutes tonight. As you can see, we have a lot of speakers for a lot of different things, and we'll have to hold tight to that. Diana, we're glad to have you here tonight.
Well, good evening. How you doing?
I'm
My
great.
name's
How are you?
Diana Howard, and I'm the vice chair of the Virginia Beach Tea Party. And I would just like to lump 3 of these things together. We have the Old Beach Village, where the developer wants to have the taxpayers build a parking garage for their residential unit and then have other incentive grants. And then you have the arena, which long-term bill to the public is $500,000, and they want to keep all their but-for taxes, plus $76 million for infrastructure improvements. And then we have Town Center, which is a public-private partnership that wants us to pay $3 million for a grand staircase, elevator, pedestrian bridge, and other infrastructure. And my thing is, how is this the function of government? I thought we were supposed to have a level playing field. Do all businesses get to keep their but-for taxes? Do we build parking garages for everybody? I mean, Walmart's a big company. Don't they provide an economic gain to the city? What did we give them to build anything? And for you all to sit here and say that this is not coming out of the general fund because it's being paid by a TIF, something that you designated, you took the, your acreage of land, made a little thing, said all those taxes are gonna go pay for the debt for this developer. And if it's not enough, you'll just make that a little bit wider, take more money out, and the rest of us have to make up the money for the general fund. And then there's the tip. We live here all year round. We pay the amusement tax. We go to the theater, play ball, go golfing, whatever. But 100% of that goes to the tourist investment program. We eat and all that stuff, but they want to keep all their real estate tax, their personal property tax, their business tax, emissions, meals, on and on and on. How is that fair? I mean, if every business got to do that, can you imagine how many businesses we'd have here if they all got to keep theirs? It would be awesome, right? So and how come when I asked you to give us half of that when we had a deficit, couldn't do that, but you'd give it to the arena, right? We have a $33 million budget shortfall, but we're going to give all this money to the arena. And Town Center, I think we've done enough with Town Center. Haven't they made enough money? So I think, and if there's not enough money going to the arena, you can raise that too. You can raise the cigarette tax, put more money in there. Even the bill says any revenue under the purview of the city can go in that arena fund. So what's to stop you from putting my property taxes in there as well? Nothing. We pay for city services. That's what our taxes are supposed to go for, not to subsidize developers. And I think my time is up.
Thank you, ma'am, for coming down. Next speaker,
Frank
please.
Papicon? Next speaker is Robert Dean.
Which one are you speaking to, sir? Town Center?
This one's going to be Town Center.
Okay.
I'd like to say hello to you people. I don't see very much of you, but I'll try and make up with it by being a big mouth, as usual. Glad to see you smiling. I love it. Anyways, why am I here? I remember being here years ago when Town Center was just a dream. And what I remember then was the fact that we were supposed to get a skywalk going across Virginia Beach Boulevard for the safety of the people of the city of Virginia Beach. That never materialized. And you personally told me at Thalia Civic League meeting that the reason why they didn't do it is because the developers didn't want to do it. And we know that you could have talked them into it. Well, they went ahead and built a skywalk of their own for the convenience of their customers going to the hotel so that they don't have to get wet going from the hotel to a parking garage. And it seems like they're going to get another skywalk for the same reason. Yet we're not going to get a skywalk going across Virginia Beach Boulevard. And even this here other one, this other project down at the beach, they're going to get a skywalk. But again, we're not getting any skywalk for the safety of the people of Virginia Beach. Now, my concern is that the reason why we're not getting a skywalk is because the developers don't want the competition of people going from Town Center to Pembroke Mall. And if and when you do get a choo-choo to the beach, people riding on that light rail line, they're going to want to go across the street to Pembroke Mall too, and they're not going to be able to safely because they don't have a skywalk, even though we were promised it years ago. And that's my 2 cents for now. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
You have
sir.
a nice day now.
It's always good to see you.
Robert Dean.
Next. We welcome you today, Robert.
Thank you.
Mayor Sessoms, could I say something?
You can.
Mr. Dean, on April 23rd, 2015, you spoke at Green Run High School during the budget hearings. And during that time, you made a comment to Councilwoman Amelia Ross Hammond, why is light rail so finger-licking good? Would you care to elaborate on that or offer Councilwoman Ross Hammond an apology?
I think what you're asking me right now is totally inappropriate, and I certainly do hope that this is not taken away from my time. I'll see you afterwards, and I'll see Mrs.
What I'm going to
Holman
do is
afterwards.
we're going to
This is totally
withdraw that
inappropriate.
question.
Evidently, you're, pardon me?
Robert, I would have the question withdrawn. If you'll go ahead and make your comments, please.
Paris Island would love to see you. Tonight, I was speaking on behalf of the Taiwan Libertarian Party, the organization that fought the city's position of supporting condemnation of private property. We won that constitutional amendment by a vote of 75 to 25%. Hopefully, the city manager and council members who opposed the referendum are still wincing. And condemnation was used to acquire properties along 19th Street, but not for a private venture, even though we, the taxpayers, aren't selling the property. I'm using the term "we taxpayers" because the only money government has is taken by force from those who earned it. But those tax dollars are not to be intended to used to be pick winners and losers in the private sector. That's the role of the consumer who determines the outcome of market forces. It certainly isn't the role of the city manager or mayor, who for some reason believes he is a strong mayor. I guess in Virginia Beach, that's what we have by fiat, for the mayor seems to have 9 other council members under his political and financial thumb. There are simply too many unanswered questions and concerns that haven't been addressed, and no answers to the compelling question: if the infrastructure costs go over budget, how many city staff will lose their job? The original optional infrastructure costs have gone from $26 million to the current estimate of $78.5 million, and an outrageous amount. What happens if they mysteriously rise to, say, $150 million or more? Jim Spohr will already be gone, so he can't be fired. What about the number crunchers like the assistant city managers, the head of the departments of finance and budget? Will the weak-kneed council members clean house and dump the incompetent staff members who created fake spreadsheets containing understated costs and overstated tax revenues? On the arena, the payback on the taxpayer's investment is never addressed or disclosed, but the payback to the developer and the Chinese bank is, to the tune of $477 million. Quite the sum for a so-called $200 million investment. But what if the infrastructure costs exceed the budget and trustee taxes fall short of projections and service of the bonds fall short? What happens then? Will it be a repeat of the convention center red ink bloodbath where the general fund has to subsidize that facility annually? Will that come into play with the arena? With the exception of the Bruce Thompson, Ed Ruff, and Amana Hoffer cabals, my tax dollars haven't gone into other private ventures around the city, such as apartments, condos, other housing developments, and shopping centers. So where is the compelling argument to willy-nilly pick select partners give away our precious and hard-earned tax dollars? And I would be remiss if I failed to mention 2 other projects fly in the face of capitalism and free enterprise, terms unfamiliar with the city manager, his staff, and 10 members of this council.
Thank you much, Mr. Dean. We appreciate your comments. I'm holding everyone to the same time to be
Even
fair.
though they're organizations.
Yes, sir. Okay. And the clerk notified people of that today, too. Thank you.
Your Honor, since people are speaking on all subjects, I'm just going to go straight forward if the speakers, if that's all right.
Well, okay.
Next speaker.
No, I want to get Town Center over with, please.
That's all of those.
Okay, that's all
Yes.
on Town Center. And now I'm going to go to item number 2, the resolution to authorize a non-binding term sheet to Town Center Phase 6 and authorize supplemental documents regarding mixed-use development by Town Center Associates LLC.
And I have speakers on that.
I thought we just had that.
That's the comment period. It's a different agenda item.
Okay. Welcome.
Barbara Messner is the first and George Mims is second.
Okay, and what is this? You said you're changing something? What is this cover?
Okay.
You said you would-
No more speakers, Your Honor. These are on the other. I'm sorry.
I thought so. Do I have a,
It's on what? On what- you-
yeah, obviously, didn't want to speak on this. We'll go ahead and,
Absolutely. I signed up to speak and I found out what number I was, and I assume this is, it's like you already gave Robert a hard time. Can you just be a little bit more mature and not hassle people who come here early to speak?
no, ma'am, what I'm going to do is be respectful to everyone in this audience. Are you here to speak on Town Center?
No. I
Then-
thought you said she was moving to the next thing. That
Okay,
was all
very
the
good.
speakers on Town Center.
I just want to get that clarified. Thank you very much. We'll call you. Okay. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to move for approval of a resolution to authorize a non-binding term sheet, Ray Town Center's Phase 6, and authorize supplemental documents, Ray mixed-use development by Town Center Associates LLC.
Do I have a second? Second. Discussion, please. Mr. Moore.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Rarely do you find me much in alignment with the editorial in the Virginia Pilot, but today is one of those occasions we're partially in alignment. Before I get to the details of my objections to why we're here and voting tonight, I think they did capture well that this has been hurried, to say the least, in terms of the amount of time for public inspection. I know that everybody probably, all the public spent their Thanksgiving holidays looking at the published council agendas on vb.gov. I'm sure that's what everybody was doing. I was not. I spent time with my family, as most people should, so therefore it's not surprising that very few people have had the time to look at the details and understand the flaws of this agreement. Secondly, the analysis that's been subjected to this agreement is somewhat less than consequential. And when you think about the time and effort that we put into the arena of over 2 years, looking at numbers, looking at displacement, having a chance to independently validate the numbers, look at the forecast, and here comes something that in the speed of the night, 2 weeks after the executive session, when we first seen it, it's now on the agenda for a vote. Now, it may have something to do with the party applicants who, on the disclosure statement, maybe not, but there is some correlation. But let me state for the record that none of the members of Town Center Associates 9 or Amata Hoffler LP or Amata Hoffler Managers LLC are contributors to my campaign. But let me go further to say that one of the things that was not in the disclosure list, that should have been in the disclosure list, and thank the city attorney for researching it for me because they were listed as a partner, they all have these generic names, was Town Center Block 9 Partners LLC. Just for the record, those partners were Gerald DeVaris, Michael DeVaris, and Sandy Cohen, and they were not in our packet. But now let's get to the heart of the matter, of the merits of the issue. How did we get here tonight? About last March, April timeframe, the option on Block 9 was going to expire because Amata Hoffler could not meet the terms of the option, which meant that the city, like in any other option deal, keeps the money it receives and now has its property clear of encumbrances and can go out and acquire and get the highest and best value for Block 9. Did that happen? No. We have as someone would say it, I call it a cozy relationship, so we modified and allowed the option to be extended and sold the property to who? Amata Hoffler. So we did not do our best due diligence and stewardship to get the highest and best value for the public's land. Now, so that's how we got here to this deal. So now we need to talk about economic displacement. Now, any of you, and I'm sure all my peers, have studied closely the displacement factor in the Arena project, which is 30% across the life of the project. I don't know if many people knew that. But now, so I asked Patty Phillips, since it wasn't part of the analysis that we got, what is the displacement rate on this project? Displacement being money that's being spent here, but was really being spent somewhere else already. We just located the geographic location where the money gets expended, meaning there's no net revenue gain, no net new economic development. She came back and said that the early year displacement for this was 67%, which means in the early years you're only getting, what? 33 cents on the dollar of net investment, if you believe that. But the question is, when I asked for the underlying analysis methodology by which that was derived, none yet has been forthcoming. But interestingly enough, before we get to the 10-year mark, that displacement rate falls below 10%. Now, you say, well, why is that significant? They're building 120 apartments. And now, one of the things that's been mentioned, that the existing apartment complex has a waiting list. Well, since they're not living in tents at the town center, I'm sure they have apartments elsewhere, because they're living somewhere in the interim. There's also, if you go over to the apartment on Bonnie Road, they have a vacancy rate. I stopped by there and asked them that myself. And I visited a couple other, quote-unquote, high-end apartment complexes on Greenwich Road, right down here at Salem and Princeton, and they all have vacancies. So if there's a surplus of inventory of apartments, and our population, if not for live births, is declining, and the city's own economic forecast says our adult work population has fallen, that's people that rent apartments, then obviously these are not filling a shortage, and therefore all the renters, unless you can establish they've moved from out of the area, are in fact, it's 100% displacement. So now that we can see there's some doubt as to the underlying economic analysis, you have to ask yourself, on fundamental principle, Why is the city becoming a partner to an economic relationship that creates a competitor who builds his own apartment, builds his own parking lot, puts in his own landscaping, builds his own drainage retention pond? Is that what we would call in America, what we would call fair and level playing field? And the answer is no. So you have to ask yourself, well, what then explains that behavior? I will leave that to the audience to draw their own conclusions as to what might explain that. But it does mean that the analysis that we've been given is less than straightforward or less than complete. Now, when someone says, but yes, Mr. Moss, but all this is at a TIF, meaning that the money's not going to the general fund anyway, and that is true. But they fail to say that there are 300-plus acres outside that core TIF. Think of Best Buy, think of the Wendy's on Bonnie Road, think of the McDonald's, all those places. Their property tax evaluations after 1999 only go into the TIF to pay for all those infrastructure things that other businesses have to pay for themselves. Now, one of the things that was good in the pilot article was talking about, isn't it time now, we've done so much to give this a favorite status, as a matter of fact, I would say more than favorite status, for them to start doing their own investment and not having to rely on public investment to give them a competitive advantage? And what would that enable us to do? That would enable us to more quickly retire the debt on the TIF and put those 300 acres back into the general tax base to finance our schools, finance our police. Because you know what? The police going to town center aren't being paid by property taxes in town center. They're not being paid by the amusement taxes, none of those things. So we're really giving one part of the city a geographical advantage. Are there consequences for that advantage? And there are. If you look at the empirical study, and I know that a lot of people don't like to read all those business journals, but any countries and cities, Chicago is a good example, that have a number of non-level playing economic incentives disproportionately have lower economic growth rates. Because these things, these incentives that we create distort the allocation of capital and they drive away other investors because what? They don't have a partnership deal with government and they can't compete when government is a partner. Now, if all the stuff we said was true about all the things we've done over a decade, you would think over 2 decades that we wouldn't have losing population except for live births. We wouldn't be seeing real declines in average wages. And the average weekly wage of someone who works in Virginia Beach, independent of where they live, $740 a week. Multiply it by 52, get your own calculation. So my point is these policies really aren't working, but they are very effective at transferring wealth and competitive advantage from the many to the few. They are fundamentally wrong. They are fundamentally lowering our growth rates. But let's just look at what we're buying for this. This is what's fascinating, because you think we would be getting some kind of big jobs or something, but we're not, because we're building retail shops on the ground floor and then 120 apartments, like we don't have enough apartments in the city. But we're going to spend $813,000 before debt service for a public plaza. I know we don't have enough of those in Virginia Beach. And then soft cost, $205,685. $500,000 is for the pedestrian bridge so you can get from the apartments to your parking garage. And that's from EDIP funds, Economic Development Incentive Funds. What is economic development about apartments? That's not one of our things to grow residential in the city last time I checked. And then $500,000 for landscaping. I'm sure many residents would like to have that in their neighborhood. And then they call this is what they call vertical transportation. That's not stilts. That's elevators and staircases for almost $500,000. That's the public investment. It's like $4 million. And then because we're letting the Model Hoffler have the ground floor for shops and putting the theater on the top, the city has the privilege of compensating, I guess, the noise and weight and structural cost of that, and we're paying another $1.5 million roughly for that. Ladies and gentlemen, this thing has not received the public scrutiny that it deserves. The economic analysis is shallow at best, and I don't know how anyone in good conscience or stewardship of the public's money with the evidence that's available can with good conscience vote for this, and I will be voting no.
Thank you for your comments. Any other comments? Call for the question, please.
Mr. Charles Hammond, may I have your vote? By a vote of 9-2, you have adopted the ordinance.
I now go to the public comment for Old Beach Village.
The first speaker is Barbara Clark.
Barbara, we welcome you tonight.
Good evening, Mayor Sessoms and members of City Council. My name is Barbara Clark, and I am president of the Resort Beach Civic League. Our boundaries include this project site, as well as the established Old Beach residential neighborhood directly to its south. I respectfully request that you defer this item until we, as stakeholders, are able to provide input, ask questions, and express our concerns, all in an effort to work with the developer. Otherwise, this item will not adhere to the City Council policy, referred to as the SGA policy, which directs staff to follow the process identified therein. For example, who are the City Council liaisons for this project? Who is the project manager? Where is the completed study of the economic, fiscal, and social impacts of the project, including number and type of jobs, salaries paid, and economic, community, and other impacts? When will the project manager undertake stakeholder input, given the size and scope of this project, that is 320 new units, apartment units, with 500 or many more residents? This is all part of the process identified in that policy. As Deputy City Manager Doug Smith stated during his presentation to you during your council workshop 1 week ago, tonight is a chance for the public to see the proposal. Tuesday. We were not aware of this project until the Virginian pilot article was published the next day, Wednesday, before Thanksgiving. I was not made aware of tonight's public hearing on this project until I reviewed the City Council agenda in Sunday's Beacon. I appreciate Jack Pope's willingness to meet with us, but it was virtually impossible to arrange a meeting in less than 1 week that included Thanksgiving. Please consider our stakeholder request to provide input and ensure the success of this project. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thanks for coming down. Next speaker, please.
Barbara Messner.
We welcome you tonight.
Good evening, sorry. But I misunderstood when Ruth said she was changing things. I'm sure you're aware that I've been interested in parking at the beach for a long time. I've paid attention when you built the first 9th Street garage, 31st Street garage. Those aren't for us. They're for the hotel owners, the hotel employees, and for the tourists. And you want another public-private partnership to build a hotel at Old Beach? It's high density. Have you seen what's at 25th Street that you partnered with, Mr. Sessoms, on iFly? I mean, not only is that parking garage, you know, just for the huge condos that are like 5 stories tall, but 25th Street, which has been off-street parking, on-street parking with all the parking meters, I just noticed Thanksgiving Day when I was down there that those meters now say for resident parking only. So is that restricted, or can the general public use those meters? Because that's a new sign. Yeah, and also, this ties in with the arena deal because they've already said there isn't enough parking and that you're going to allow the overflow parking for the arena to use the 31st and 9th Street parking garages. Now, those aren't enough for us on holiday weekends. And you know that the arena, you're going to try to do it year-round. It's not just for the winter. So why are you putting it in the deal for them to use that garage, and then you want to build a garage here? Is this one for the arena also? Does anyone know if it's for overflow for the arena at Old Beach? Because it's a little bit closer than going all the way down to 9th Street. Does anybody have any information on that?
We're just here to listen.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you very much. Next speaker, please.
Robert Dean.
I'm going to forego it this time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Jack Pope.
We welcome you tonight.
Thank you. My name is Jack Pope. I'm one of the partners in the Old Beach Village LLC that is to become an OBV2 LLC for the construction of the apartments on Baltic Avenue and 30th Street. I'm really not here to make an entire, complete presentation on the property. I'd like to do that at the voting session that I believe is next Tuesday. But I do want to say that I am working diligently to talk to every single group of stakeholders I possibly can. I have met with the Old Beach Village members of their condo association directors and officers, and they are supportive of our moving ahead. They see terrific advantages in having some amenities there that they haven't had other than the ocean in the 10 years since we built those units. I've spoken to the Harris Teeter manager and spoken to the members of their real estate committee outside of town, and they are, of course, they're elated about having 500 people who are going to, if that's our estimated number of residents, we're going to be shopping at Harris Teeter. I've talked to the Holly Bend Civic Group, and we'll be talking to them further in this week when they get their group together. I've talked to the Resort Beach Civic League, and that being Barbara Clark. We have had numerous telephone calls, and they have dealt with parking. And to clarify that is a private garage. It is built by us, and I won't go into all the details necessarily here unless you have questions about them. But that is for sufficient parking for every one of the residents in the apartments, as well as a ratio of 1.5 parking spaces per unit, which is above the 1.3 minimum that's set. And it is, and there's 61 extra spaces in the facility that we'll be building. So we're providing for the people who are there, and we're providing for their guests. And finally, I have spoken with the 31 Ocean Group, which is dealing with retail on the, and they'll be speaking next week as well. So that's where we are with talking to civic leagues, and I'll be devoted to that in the near future. If there are any questions, I'd be glad to.
I would just recommend you follow up with the speakers that have spoken today, especially Mrs. Clark.
And did I mention that, as I went through this, that we have a meeting set, I hope?
Very good.
Friday night?
We're trying to get it together.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any other speakers on that?
Solid speaker, sir.
We now open the public comment on the arena project. Call the speakers, please.
Glenn Robertson, and the next speaker will be Charles Montgomery.
Glenn, we welcome you tonight, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Vice Mayor, members of council. I'm Glenn Robertson. I'm the Virginia Beach Division Chair of the Hampton Roads Chamber of Commerce. Almost exactly 1 year ago to the date, December 2nd, 2014, I stood here before you and expressed the Chamber's strong support of the proposed term sheet between U.S. management and the city for the construction of the Virginia Beach Arena. Now, with a full agreement negotiated for the development, construction, and operation of this 500,000 square foot entertainment and sports venue, I'm here to strongly, again, urge this council to approve this agreement and move forward on this game-changing project for our city. The opportunity to add a privately owned and privately financed arena of this size and quality to the oceanfront is a once-in-a-lifetime prospect. To benefit from some $210 million of private investment and private risk for addition of a first-rate arena is unique, and we will almost certainly never have such a chance to obtain such a facility on such favorable terms again. It's important that this project will not require a real estate tax increase for our citizens, nor will the city be responsible for USM's debt if the project ultimately fails. But make no mistake, we do not believe this project will fail. What we do believe is that this arena will generate new tax revenues and new business revenues for our hotels, our restaurants, and other area businesses as a result of business from arena event customers. Best of all, the arena programming will be focused primarily in the September to April time period, so it will boost business in our normal slower session and slower part of the year. It promotes the goal of Virginia Beach as a year-round destination for tourism, which we've all worked at. The agreement requires that USM hold at least 20 ticketed events of at least 7,500 attendees per year, and overall to have at least 450,000 paid attendees to events per year. With the experienced and proven management of its equity partner, SMG, and its track record of scheduling major acts and events that now bypass this area due to the lack of such an arena, the Chamber believes the arena will exceed those requirements. We believe the arena will be a catalyst for redevelopment in 19th Street corridor, and with the cooperation agreement between the convention center and the arena, we believe the arena optimizes the potential of the convention center in which the city has already invested. We expect the arena to aid the city's efforts to attract professional and amateur sporting events, which are already contributing tax revenue and non-beach tourist revenue to our coffers. We believe that they'll be increased by this. Finally, as I said to you, ladies and gentlemen, last December, the ability to attract world-class entertainment to Virginia Beach that currently bypasses the city for larger and newer venues adds to the quality of life of our citizens and would make the greatest city in the world even greater. And I compliment you on your grace and patience tonight.
Thank you very much. Next speaker, please.
Charles Montgomery, and then Stuart Myers.
Charles, glad to have you tonight, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First thing, tell me what's happening up there, because I don't know. This is the first time I've ever been on front of the podium. And the yellow light's blinking. What's that telling me?
You got 30 seconds left.
30, and the red, you're over.
Yes, sir.
It won't take that long.
And you know, I do that.
Again, as I said, I probably wouldn't be standing up here if it wasn't for Bill Myers, because Bill took me under his arm when I joined and got approved by Meyer Ovendorf to sit on the committee of the Virginia Beach Mayor's Veterans Committee. And we were totally opposed of the project because of one thing, and that's that big memorial that sits there that represents the city, the community, the veterans from the past, present, and our future. And after we had that town hall meeting at the Pavilion Conference Center, old school Pavilion, things changed. And I've never seen it work so fast, because we got a call the next day that we were having a meeting Monday to have the sit-down talk with the city reps and also the contracting people about the memorial. Our biggest main concern was anything they showed had the memorial not there. If anybody looked at their little programs, and if you looked up here, you would see it sticking over here in the corner. This grounds is sacred grounds. This is like when you go to Arlington, if you go to the Wall, if you go to the nurses statue in DC, it's sacred grounds. And the property was given to us as the committee back in 1978, somewhere around in there, where we had to raise funds to build this project. And I was out of the service for 18 years before I got involved with my first veterans group, being the fact because I was ashamed to be a veteran. I didn't think I was a veteran, and because of the war that I had to go through to become a veteran. And a lot of the VSOs didn't even recognize us as Vietnam veterans as veterans. But then I found Chapter 48, Vietnam Veterans of America. And our first project, which I'm very proud to join in '87, was to raise money to help with the bunker, to raise money for that project, to build that memorial the way it is today. And I was part of the 21-gun salute that we did on opening day in 1988. I've been there since then. I haven't been on the committee that long, but I have been there. All I want to say, after talking to the mayor and after the mayor got this letter out, after we went through all the paperwork through the city that was told to us back then what belonged to us as a committee, everything got ironed out. And we're happy with it. We're going to be working along with the construction group, with this memorial, and we need to keep this here for our veterans.
Well, we thank, number one, we thank you for your service, but number two, thanks for meeting so quickly so we could get, we wanted to make sure, we wanted to make it clear, it's staying just like it is.
Thank you,
Okay?
sir. Yes, sir.
All right.
Thank you.
sir.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Stuart Myers, and then Dwayne Trowbridge.
Trowbridge.
Sorry, Trowbridge. Apologize.
Stuart, we welcome you tonight.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here. And good evening to you, Mayor Sessoms, and all the members of the City Council. And I am Stuart Myers, a member of the Mayor's Veterans Committee and the widow of William Billy Myers Sr., who was determined, as stated on the wall in front of the Veterans Memorial, that, quote, "they shall not be forgotten." First, I would like to thank you, Mayor Sessoms, for your November 24th, 2015 letter to the Mayor's Veterans Committee confirming that, and I quote from your letter, "The City of Virginia Beach, Virginia affirms the language and spirit of a resolution passed by the City Council in 1988 guaranteeing that the Tidewater Veterans Memorial and Park on 19th Street will remain intact and in its present location," close quote. The City Council resolution of May 30th, 1988 came about because the park was to be built by a resolution in 1983, and when completed, it would be turned over to the City of Virginia Beach. And I want to state from that resolution at May 30th, 1988, be it resolved that the City of Virginia Beach accept the dedication of the Tidewater Veterans Memorial to have and to hold for public use forever. And be it further resolved that the City of Virginia Beach, Virginia, assume caretaking functions of the Tidewater Veterans Memorial from that day forward, close quote. I therefore request that the City Council of the City of Virginia Beach take action through a resolution confirming the May 30th, 1988 City Council resolution and the guarantee is stated by Mayor Sessoms in his November 24th of this year letter to the Mayor's Veterans Committee. Your resolution would confirm your commitment to preserve and care for the Tidewater Veterans Memorial and Park, which is a sacred place. Your resolution would serve as a tribute to those who made the ultimate sacrifice to keep us safe and to preserve our freedoms. This resolution would also be an expression of appreciation which our military, their families, and concerned citizens would like to hear and would cherish. I ask you to make time in your very busy schedule to visit and walk through the Veterans Memorial Park as you read the inscriptions on some of the 21 granite monuments and over 300 and some pavers. You will better understand why the Veterans Memorial Park is considered a sacred place.
Yes, ma'am, we will get a resolution done for you, and your time has expired. I apologize. We got to hold everyone to the same, but thank you so very much for
That's
coming
what
in.
I was just going to request.
We will
a
get it done for you
resolution.
next week.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Very much. Thank
Let's
you
get that on the agenda,
very
Mr.
much.
Smith.
Dwayne Trowbridge,
Dwayne, we welcome you tonight.
and then Bill Johnson.
Thanks, sir. My name, I'll tell you, first of all, honored to be here with you, Will Sessoms, and the council members, and thank you for allowing me to be here to speak. My name is Dwayne Trowbridge, and I'm a United States Marine. I was in the Korean War, and I received 2 Purple Hearts. I have 2 questions for the council. Number 1, I have a question that the council and would appreciate if you would stand. And how many of you served in the military? thank you very much for your service. Number two, how many of you have visited the Tidewater Veteran Park and the Tidewater Memorial Park in Virginia Beach? How many of you all have done that? Well, that's outstanding. And my name's back there, too. I am also a member of the Mayor's Veteran Committee, also the Hampton Roads Council of Veterans Organization, which it presents and does the Veteran Day Parade every November the 11th. Also, on November the 19th, they had a meeting at the Convention Center, which we attended and had many veterans organizations who were there, and also they had a lot of people asking questions pertaining to the arena coming up. So also the ones who were heading it up were the CEO of Andrea Kilmer of the USM, and also Doug Smith, who was there, and they handled the meeting, which was very good, but I came away from there with not a very good impression of the answers I got. So we had a call meeting on November the 23rd down at the mayor's office, and we had, Doug was there and Andrea was there, and we had a very good meeting along with the mayor's veteran committee people, and we had a very good session. And we got through. When I came away from there, it was an outstanding meeting, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And once again, I want to thank you for allowing me to speak. And I'm not against the arena. I just want the Veteran Memorial Park to stay there as is. And I know when doing construction, there's a lot of activity going on. And I asked a question about driving pilings for that arena, because when you drive pilings, there's a lot of vibration. And how is that going to affect all of the memorials and things we have there? So anyway, I couldn't get an answer. So I want to thank you very much again for letting me speak. And in closing, I would say I'm very concerned about the outcome about the Veteran Memorial Park in the city of Virginia Beach, making sure it stays intact.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate your comments.
Okay.
Thank
Number
you.
5, sir.
Next speaker, please.
Bill Johnson, and then Michael Callahan. Bill Johnson,
Sir Bill Johnson here. Next speaker.
Michael Callahan, and then after that, Reese Smith.
We welcome you today, sir.
If I could, I have MS, so I talk slowly. I'd like to ask the city council to give me just a minute and a half more than 3. I'd really appreciate that. My concern is based on a document I downloaded from VB.gov, the Arena Project. It's called 11-10-15 Arena Update Open CC. It's quite a name. I don't know what it means, but that's the name of it. My concern is the $487 million that this city is going to pay for this project. That consists on slide 9, in the first bullet, this city is going to pay $9.4 million for 30 years to USM. That's their incentive? That's $282 million. They're going to be putting in $40 million. Before we even shovel the first piece of dirt, they've already made $242 million. That's almost $250 million. But you see, that's not enough, because we look at slide 19, and we find out that the city is going to pay an additional $45 million for on-site infrastructure. That brings the total to $327 million, and we ain't done yet. On the second bullet, on slide 9, we have off-site infrastructure that's going to cost this city $6.5 million for 20 years. That's $130 million, bringing our total to $457 million. And then last but not least, city services at $500,000 a year. The lease is for 60 years. I calculate that at $30 million. Now, the one good thing about slide 9 is it does show that the city will realize an extra $6.5 million. But I'm sorry. When you bounce that up against an investment of $487 million, that means we're going to see a payback in just 74.9 years. I'm telling you, there is no business in this country that's going to invest any amount of money that takes 75 years to pay back. The total investment for this project is the $487 million that we're going to provide and $40 million from USM. That's $527 million, folks. That is $500 million. I never read that this thing was going to cost us $500 million. Virginia Beach is going to supply 92.4% of those $527 million. USM is going to chip in with 7.6. Folks, this is not, by any stretch of the imagination, a public-private partnership. This is a classic example of corporate wealth.
Sir, if you could wind it up, you've run out of time.
Yeah, I know, and I did ask for the extra minute and a half.
No, sir, I've got to treat everyone the same.
I'm sorry?
I'm treating everyone the same, sir,
Oh,
out of respect.
well, that's convenient. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you for coming down tonight. Next speaker, please.
Reese Smith, and then Paul Smith. Reese Smith is first.
We welcome you tonight, sir.
Thank you. Honorable Mayor, members of City Council, my name is Reese Smith. I'm president of the Tidewater Builders Association, and I'm here this evening to share with you all our enthusiastic support for the arena project. Our members are excited to see a project of this magnitude being proposed at the beach, especially one that has such potential to spur additional activity and economic development in the surrounding area. We're particularly excited that the project has a local developer and will feature a local contractor, SB Ballard Construction Company. The projected total construction spending of $275 million in building and infrastructure will generate an estimated 1,600 construction jobs, an additional 700 construction-related jobs, and the need for well over $100 million in locally sourced materials and services. And the benefits to our members and the community don't stop once the arena is built. According to the city's economic consultant, the arena, once built, will serve as a significant economic generator with the potential to create an estimated 1,400 full and part-time jobs in Virginia Beach alone, with an even greater impact to the region overall. This will have a significant impact on our members because new jobs create additional housing demand for residential builders. And we also anticipate that the increase in visitors and economic activity around the arena will contribute towards revitalizing the resort district and providing opportunities for our commercial builders for many years to come. On behalf of the Tidewater Builders Association, I ask that the members of City Council support this project that will have such a positive effect on our business and our community. And I ask you to please vote yes on December 8th.
We thank you for coming down. Next speaker, please.
Paul Smith, and then Barbara Messner.
We welcome you today, sir.
Well, first, as a veteran of the United States Marine Corps, as it relates to the Veterans Memorial Park, I find that the arena is a great asset because of all the people that will come to the area over many, many years in the future. They will get an opportunity to visit the memorial, honor those that served, and it can be nothing but good for our community in that respect, and will teach people more about Virginia Beach. So, good evening, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Vice Mayor, members of the City Council, City Managers Board. My name is Paul Smith, and my family and I owned and operate McDonald's restaurants in Virginia Beach, and we've done that now for 25 plus years. They include the McDonald's restaurant located at 321st Street and the restaurant located at 19th and Bird Neck near the proposed arena site. I want to share with you all tonight our support for the arena. I believe it will be the most dynamic project that can be developed at the beach. It will create, as a previous speaker said, several thousand jobs, both during construction and after completion. Jobs, as we all know, are the lifeblood of our economy, infusing millions of dollars into our economy year-round. It will spur additional development in the surrounding area, creating even more jobs and more revenue for the citizens of Virginia Beach. For our citizens, it will add millions of dollars in new tax revenue, keeping our real estate taxes the lowest in the region. The additional revenue will also help keep all of our taxes lower across the board. As for security and parking, the city has shown in the past that high traffic volumes and having run businesses at the beach during the summer business, traffic is a problem. It's our belief that the city does an excellent job in managing that traffic flow. And I know that the city will do a great job in managing the traffic flow for the big events, particularly during the off-season. I trust that the security and parking will be managed quite well. I've had the pleasure in the past of working with Andrea Kilman with U.S. Management in the past, and I know that with Andrea being a longtime resident of Virginia Beach, I believe that she, as well as anybody, wants to deliver a first-rate arena that we can all be proud of, particularly U.S. Management. So I thank you, and I ask for your support and vote for the arena project.
Thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
Next speaker, please.
Barbara Messner, and then Princess Norris.
Barbara, we welcome you.
If I could hold this up for the vets that spoke. These are pictures of the Veterans Memorial. One of them is, honor and remember for the 70th anniversary of Pearl Harbor. And this is, I think, was on July 4th. It says honor and remember. And I think not only should we honor them by preserving that area, but making sure that there's access during the construction. And well, I'll wait, because that's on the transfer, I believe. My other question is on the jet traffic, because this map clearly shows that when the jet crashed in 2012 at Mayfair Mews, that's in the direct path. Just because it isn't in the crash zone doesn't mean the jets don't crash, because they fly over that area all the time. I think preserving Oceana is more important than the arena. Okay. Mr. Sessoms, you're on paid leave from Town Bank, and you have stock in Town Bank. Will you finance any of the developers, restaurants that will go in this facility, or subcontractors? Will you abstain because of your affiliation and stock in Town Bank? You don't. Oh, wait.
We're going to listen to you, but I'll let you know one
No.
other thing, that I have a letter signed by the Commonwealth's attorney allowing me to vote on this matter.
Oh,
Okay?
I'm aware.
Okay, good.
I'm
Good.
aware. Y'all can get whatever you want. Mr. Wood, your son, Jimmy B. Wood, is an associate with Wilcox Savage.
Okay, Barbara, get to the
Wait,
point.
this
No,
is
ma'am.
my time? This is my time?
Yes,
I
ma'am, but you're to be
appreciate-
respectful for everyone
I am
and address
respectful.
the arena project, please.
Wilcox Savage is the outside law firm. I'm just letting other people know that his son is an associate, and we're paying them on top of the 30-plus lawyers that we have. I don't know why you're so worried about me. I'm just one little person who's been paying attention to you for 30 years. Have any of you accepted any donations from Mr. Garcia, USM, ESG, or Ballard Construction, the builder? This project? Okay. I've already done everything else, and thank you for being so polite and kind.
Thank you for coming down tonight. We appreciate your comments. Next speaker.
Princess Norris, and then Jimmy Cap.
We welcome you tonight.
Mayor Sessoms and City Council members, thank you very much for your time and dedication to the city that you have made for so many years. At the Thursday night town meeting, I questioned the ethics concerning Chinese funding for the arena. I asked Mrs. Kilmer what Chinese banks were involved and what other entertainment projects are these banks funding. Mrs. Kilmer replied that no financing has been finalized or secured, and only one Chinese bank was involved. International banks do not take debt financing of this magnitude. You know, they syndicate debt, they spread it out, they spread it to other principal banks, who in turn syndicate it out very quickly to other subsidiaries. What little I know about international banking, that's sort of how it works. It's now the debt is spread, and it's spread all over China or to other concerns. This concerns me. The Chinese banking made headlines of the Wall Street Journal today. On page 15, a recent decision made by the International Monetary Fund concerning the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank does nothing but validate China's history of cheating on its currency. And this is according to Senator Bob Casey. I think they're probably pretty good at it, since Macau is the gaming capital of the world. I am asking you, where is the United States in the USM deal? So now we are looking to the Chinese to fund a successful fixed-seated sports entertainment venue. We have poorly invested in the past in semi-pro soccer, football, and horse racing, to name a few. We haven't tried gaming yet, but who knows, maybe that's in our future. When I moved to the oceanfront in 1978, the boardwalk was not a safe place. I witnessed drugs, racketeering, and illegal gaming, as I'm sure many of you remember. It has taken us over 30 years to earn the respect and integrity our resort town holds today as a family vacation destination. I ask you, councilmen, women, and citizens of Virginia Beach, do not play games with the Chinese banks. If we do, we are inviting gaming into our city. It is not a good deal for the citizens. It is not a good deal for the taxpayers. It is not a good deal for the United States, and maybe even not a good deal for Mr. Garcia. Thank you.
Thank you for coming down. Thank you, ma'am.
Jimmy
Nick?
Capps, and then Russell Lyons.
Jimmy, we welcome you tonight.
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Spohr, Ms. Smith, council members, I'm Jimmy Capps. I'm a local innkeeper. I live at 940 Cardinal Road in Bird Neck Point. I'd like to thank you, Andrea and Doug, and the city manager for working out the Veterans Memorial issue. I'm very comfortable with the job you've done on that. Thank you, sir. Our regional economy is made up of three areas: tourism, the ports, and the military. We do not know with sequestration what the Department of Defense is going to be doing to our economy in our region. Tourism is a big part of the city of Virginia Beach's economics. The tourism generates 200,000 jobs in the state of Virginia, revenue of $22.4 billion, and $1.5 billion in sales tax throughout the state. And I use the state's figures because Virginia Beach is the largest tourism destination in the state, and I'm sure we get our fair share of that. The arena season will be primarily October to May 15th. And we are in a position that we've got the availability of hotel rooms, restaurants, and so forth there that time of year. We need help. One of our goals for the Virginia Beach Hotel and Motel Association is to increase off-season business. Our number one priority on our priority list is the development of this arena. We feel that strongly about what it will do for our economy. It's projected that this arena will bring in 65,000 room nights to Virginia Beach over the period of the year. We can't lose sight of the 17th and 19th Street corridors and the opportunity that this facility will do for redevelopment. I wasn't privy to the trip to Lincoln, Nebraska, but I've talked to those who have. And they have a tremendous amount of development, entertainment-wise, around their new facility. And there's no reason why we can't have the same thing here. Our city is devoid in a lot of entertainment, and I think that would be quality of life issues for our citizens as well as our tourist visitors.
We sure do. Thank you for your comments, Mr.
I
Campbell.
think the traffic issue can be worked out, and I'm all for the project, and I ask you all to vote for it when you get a chance.
Thank you, sir.
Russell Lyons, and then Carla Bailey.
Russell, we welcome you tonight.
Pardon if I'm being redundant in following up Jimmy, but I already have some prepared remarks. But my name is Russell Lyons. I'm the Vice President of the Virginia Beach Hotel Association. As well, I represent Coastal Hospitality Associates. And we own and operate 7 hotels along the oceanfront. And we've been in the hospitality business under a few different names at the beach for over 40 years. I'm here tonight to speak on behalf of the Virginia Beach Hotel Association and vocalize our strong support for the development of the proposed arena project. This development continues to be our association's #1 priority. It is an integral piece of our greater goal to make Virginia Beach a sustainable, year-round destination for our visitors. As you well know, tourism is Virginia Beach's second largest industry behind only the military. And at least along most of the oceanfront hotels, roughly 70% of our annual revenue is generated during 30% of the year, the summer season. So simply there's little room left to grow our industry during the prime season. And this proposed arena will greatly expand our industry's vitality well into the shoulder and winter seasons, revitalize a large portion of the oceanfront, and allow our businesses to retain more full-time staff, and ultimately generate substantial tax dollars that benefit our city, both from the arena and from hotel and restaurant tax dollars. We are also excited for the numerous other benefits this project creates. For people of my generation, I hate to use the term millennials, but we often flee post-high school or post-college to cities with more vibrant social scenes, and an arena like this creates an instantaneous draw for us. Along with developments like Town Center and the newly created Vibe District, which is just flourishing after, just a year or two of redevelopment. Virginia Beach is well on its way to retaining and attracting a generation of young professionals who seek out more social experiences. As well, an arena would drive younger visitors to Virginia Beach and help fuel our name recognition on a national level with an age segment that will be our primary customer base in the next 10 to 20 years. We would like to thank ESG and USM as well for putting together an excellent project. It benefits not just our industry, but the city as a whole. And we also applaud their ability to obtain private financing for the project. And we'd like to urge the City Council to support the project when it comes to a final vote. Thank you all.
Thank you for coming down tonight, Russell. Next speaker, please.
Carla Bailey, and then Barbara Clark.
Carla, we welcome you tonight.
Mayor Sessoms, members of City Council, good evening. My name is Carla Bailey, and I'm a small business owner here in the city of Virginia Beach. I'm also currently Vice Chair of the Virginia Beach Minority Business Council and the immediate past chair. I am past president of the National Association of Women Business Owners. You all would probably also know it as NAWBO, representing women business owners here in the Hampton Roads area. I'm also the spouse of a retired Navy chief and also a service-disabled veteran. And so I tell you all of that because I get it. I understand the amazing opportunity the Arena Project offers businesses in our community. A community made up of small women, minority, and veteran-owned companies. And I am a huge, huge supporter of this event, of this project. I've had the distinct pleasure of serving on Virginia Beach Arena's Citizens Communications Committee, where citizens, leaders, business owners from Virginia Beach and our region have come together to talk about the benefits and the challenges of this project. However, it was very clear that many of the business owners in those meetings and in the community understand that this project presents a rare opportunity and would provide economic growth to locally owned businesses. We all know what happens when businesses grow. We create jobs and also a diverse tax base. When local businesses grow, we buy local, we shop local, and we partake in local entertainment, restaurants, and all of the fabulous things this great city has to offer. We are self-sufficient, and we help others to be the same. The ESG companies has done a wonderful job with the outreach efforts. And while they also presented to the Virginia Beach Minority Business Council just this May, they expressed their interest in our community and also having an interest in creating an inclusive contracting environment. Through many of the phases of this massive project, the business community stands ready to support our very own local projects. And it is my hope that this council votes to support the arena. Thank you for your time this evening, and thank you for your service.
Thank you for coming down. Next speaker, please.
Barbara Clark, and then John Gilchrist.
Barbara, we welcome you back.
Good evening, Mayor Sessoms and members of City Council. Again, my name is Barbara Clark, and I live at 16th Street at the oceanfront. I am president of the Resort Beach Civic League, which includes the established resort neighborhoods on either side of the proposed arena parking for large events. We are excited about the potential improvements the area can bring to Virginia Beach and want to ensure that any negative impacts, particularly those regarding parking, are adequately addressed. We thank USM and city staff for working with us to implement protections for our neighborhoods, which include free parking in city lots and garages, October 1 through May 15, increased police presence during large events, trolley service to and from parking areas and the arena, HOV parking spaces adjacent to the arena, and signage at entrances to neighborhoods. We look forward to working toward a residential permit parking program start time of 6 p.m. instead of 8 p.m. as it now stands. This will allow residents returning from work to find parking in the vicinity of their homes. We look forward to working toward removing business employee parking from the residential permit parking program because it will fulfill the 2012 council-adopted resolution to protect established resort residential neighborhoods and will align with the objectives of the residential permit parking program ordinance. Finally, we look forward to working with USM and city staff for continued reevaluation and assessment of the parking situation as the arena becomes a reality and events begin to take place. Thank you for your kind consideration.
Thank you for your comments. Next speaker, please.
John Gilchrist, and then Josh Canada.
Mr. Gilchrist is on the way.
Okay. Josh Canada.
Josh, we welcome you tonight, sir.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. My name is Josh Canada. I'm here as the founder of Back Bay Brewing Company, which is on Norfolk Avenue. And I want to tell you and everybody here a quick story of how we got going and the people that are based in the amazing New Vibes District that helped us and how the arena will help them. We got open about a year ago, and my friend Pat Ryan, who does woodworking, built all of our tables and chairs. He has now opened a shop on 17th Street with a showroom that will be directly a couple blocks from the arena. My friend David opened up Otani Design, who you see the big mural on 17th Street. He helped us with a bunch of our artwork. Sam, who owns Big Sam's, also opened Hearth on 17th Street and helped us get going and helped us order equipment and things of that nature. Bottom line, the arena will drive traffic to my business, will help all my friends that helped me, and will help Virginia Beach. I just want to voice my strong support of the arena and how much it will help me and all my friends that helped me get going in business. So thank you very much.
Thank you for coming down tonight. Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Ross Vieira. And then George Mims.
Ross, we welcome you tonight.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor. It's good to see you and members of City Council, Mr. Spoor and Mr. Smith. Always good to see you too. Thank you so much for just giving me a couple minutes to speak about the value of this project and how important it is, I think, tonight to actually look at the team that's presenting this proposal to assemble and make the arena a reality in Virginia Beach. Today, I speak not only as a lifelong resident whose parents actually met right here on the Virginia Beach oceanfront and celebrates their 40th anniversary in about 5 days. But also as somebody who's grown up here, who became a Navy veteran, served in Operation Iraqi Freedom, Enduring Freedom, and then came back, stayed here in Virginia Beach, and now as a minority business owner who has their operations based out of Virginia Beach, who's taken a small company with only 3 employees. We now employ over 30 associates at Axis Global Enterprises, and we're listed as one of the top 20 fastest growing dynamic businesses in Hampton Roads by Inside Business. All this would not be possible if we weren't in the greatest city in the world, Mr. Mayor. But that only happens when you live, work, and play in a city that has the elements that attracts the most important talent to our region, and that's what the arena will bring. It also doesn't happen without true friends and mentors of businesses like SB Ballard Construction Company and Mr. Steve Ballard, who's not only helped our business grow, but many others in our region. There's no question in my mind that the arena and the proposal that is before the City Council should not be approved. We have a team from USM, ESG, developing a project with private dollars to build, operate, and manage a world-class arena facility in Virginia Beach. USM and ESG have partnered with Steve Ballard and SB Ballard Construction Company, which is a world-class, first-class, local, dedicated general contractor who is absolutely not a stranger here in our great city. In fact, SB Ballard has worked with ESG, Eddie Garcia, Andrea Kilmer, and my fellow Navy veteran, Mike Gilardi, on over hundreds of millions of dollars of projects right here in Virginia Beach, from the Princess Anne Plaza renovations, a new facility, the Wildwater Rapids, which was done on deals with just a little more than a handshake to show you the caliber, respect, and trust of this team. We all know and love the Virginia Beach seawall. This project met with protests where people did not see the need for it at the time. SB Ballard Construction won the project, and once people saw the 100-foot mock-up, they loved it and couldn't wait for the rest of that seawall to be built. This massive project was also built 1 year ahead of schedule, and to note, under the government's estimated budget, which we all love to hear. If you're looking for a team that knows how to give back, SB Ballard is one of the reasons ODU has a football program and a beautiful stadium, and has donated millions of dollars to making that program a success. Today, what better way to go forward with this proposal than a proven, successful local team who's created thousands of jobs, provided hundreds of millions of dollars in payroll for our community, whose offices are all located in Virginia Beach, and are taking the greatest risk to make this project a huge success, both with capital and ownership. This project will help make Virginia Beach the greatest city in the world. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments. Next speaker, please.
George Mims. And then Mary Lou Ferrari.
Mr. Mims, we welcome you tonight, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of council. Let me please state for the record, Mr. Stiles, my objection to no notice that my time would be cut after talking to 2 members of the clerk staff today and indicating I would be speaking on behalf of an organization. Didn't know anything about this new rule of the time until I was in here tonight, and I raised that objection on the record for federal judicial review regarding free speech. Greatest right in America is to protest for right. Nothing away from all the beautiful people and all the nice things they say. But I don't know how many of you remember Chinese drywall that came in, messed up veterans' homes, made some folks sick. Now here, if I understood from some of them documents that they're going to get a certain amount of the steel for this structure from China. I don't know if we have a guarantee on the quality of that steel. I don't know if they use the standards we use in America on that steel. But I think something is wrong in a city that, as the mayor said, greatest city in the world, has been blessed to have banks on every corner. $1 billion change hands every day, and we can't finance a $200, $400 million arena in America, for America, by Americans. Something is wrong with that picture. Because I don't know who up here going to be able to run to China and say that the steel or something wasn't right. If we getting that steel from China, if it is not of the quality like the drywall was not, we could be giving ourselves a bigger headache down the road. But above that, since my time has been cut to just 3 minutes, and that serves as suppression of free speech for organizations which normally do more research than an individual does, because you're doing it for a whole group. The devil is in the details. And I don't think anybody up here or out here or any of the business people managed by maybe and might. Early on, I heard 40 years, $1 a year. Now I'm hearing 60 years, $1 a year. Early on, I heard something about 52 million for infrastructure. Now I'm hearing 76 million for infrastructure. But our ambulance and fire trucks don't have wings. They can't fly us to the hospital. It still have to go down those 2 roads that was never designed for all that traffic. So I hear all of the nice folks who toot the horn about what can be. But the truth is, it's not what we've been told. It's what we have not been told that is the danger. And yes, you can put it up, but gravity can pull it down at an untimely moment if that steel from China is like the drywall they messed up homes with.
Thank you, sir. Next speaker, please.
And then Ken Cord.
We welcome you tonight, ma'am.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor Sessoms and City Council members. I am Mary Lou Farelli, a resident of Virginia Beach. I appreciate and love my country, the United States of America. And I want to see our American manufacturers, American materials, and American workers supported by the proposed arena. This project does not do that. Instead, the materials are to be supplied by Chinese manufacturers. United States companies manufacture superior quality materials, and the Chinese materials at best are quite often substandard. They can be a detriment to good health, for instance, defective drywall, flooring, toxic Chinese baby formula, toxic pet food, and lead paint on toys. Liz Highschober of Virginia Beach and 6 other Hampton Roads families are collectively owed $2.6 million from Taishan Gypsum Company Limited in a test case in which the company was found liable. The drywall seeps the toxic gas hydrogen sulfide into the air. The federal government has blamed it for causing homeowners headaches, nosebleeds, and respiratory problems in low concentrations. Hydrogen sulfide also corrodes metal, affecting the wiring, appliances, air conditioning systems of buildings in which it had been installed. Our good health and utilization of our country's materials and workers should be a top priority when considering how to proceed with the building of an arena. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Next speaker, please.
Ken Cord, and then Diana Burke.
Don't worry, I'll be on the best behavior tonight.
We welcome you tonight.
But I do have concerns. I mean, I know it's going to go through. You guys have been wanting it for a while. You guys said that, oh, it'd be a great way to, you know, have the light rail installed so that we can bring people into this arena. So, I mean, it is what it is. You guys are kind of being deceitful about it when you say, oh, we're still undecided. But whatever. But a couple of things that I've took notice was there was, I believe, a gentleman by the name of Joe. I could be wrong. I remember his first initial was J. He was interviewed by the media, and he said, oh, this would be a guaranteed success. Well, how does he know it's going to be a guaranteed success? Did he go back in the DeLorean with the doc to the future and then come back with the answer? He said it's going to be a private deal. Okay, well, why are we taxpayers footing some of the bill? As far as I know, if we're doing that, it should be public, but it's private. You guys want to raise taxes so bad, and anybody in this room who has a smartphone, you can put this in any search engine you choose. Go after the banks. The banks launder a snot load of money through the drug cartels. BOA, HSBC, they're all on record. They're in numerous periodicals. I bet you can find them in Washington Post, Huffington Post, New York Times, LA Times. They're all over the place. And you guys want more money. Start slapping the snot out of them and shake them for all the money. I can't do it. And one last thing. You guys want to have this arena to possibly even bring big stars, just like that same gentleman, Mr. Joe, had said, oh, it'd be great to have Miley Cyrus. Oh, that made my day. Why? Because this image here is what this little punk right here loves to have on VMAs. I can't show it in front of the camera. Twerking with Robin Thicke. And then the reason because he was in, and it was all planned. When she came out, he said, great outfit. That outfit was designed to make it look like she had no clothes on. He was in a black and white suit to mimic, kind of like with the swirl, the black and white swirl, to put people in a trance. People don't pick it up consciously, it's all subconsciously. And this is the crap that you want to invite. But you boast about how Virginia Beach is so wonderful, but you're going to bring this kind of crap in.
I don't know what to say after that one. Next speaker, please.
Diana Burke, and then Frank Patson.
I know we're glad to have you here tonight.
So much. My crop is much more boring. I'm going to hand this. It's just tourism information, no Miley. So sorry that I could.
You'll be forgiven.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor Sessoms and City Council members. Thank you for letting me come this evening to speak briefly. I want to thank USM, ESG, City Manager Jim Spoor, Deputy City Manager Doug Smith, and staff for their tireless efforts. This has been a long campaign, and we so thank you. Councilman John Earn and Vice Mayor Lewis Jones have also been an integral part, so thank you all. As you know, the VBHA is a strong proponent for the creation of the Virginia Beach Arena. Our board voted unanimously in favor of dedicating 1% of the existing hotel sales tax to fund the project. We also have supported an additional $1 bed tax for a maximum of 5 years to ensure, in order to ensure a feasible funding source for infrastructure improvements necessary for the arena project. At the November 2015 VBHA General Meeting, we reviewed the Tourism Investment Program, otherwise known as the TIP Fund, and its creation many years ago. We thanked past VBHA board members and City Council and staff for their foresight to create a designated revenue source for tourism-related investment projects like the arena. If it were not for individuals who set up the TIP Fund many years ago, we would not be reviewing this terrific opportunity today. The ability to finance the proposed arena has a direct correlation. Thus, we are thankful and blessed to be in the position we find ourselves. There are numerous reasons for our support for an arena. After careful analysis, no other project will bring a greater impact for overnight visitation to the Virginia Beach area, which is projected to be an additional 65,500 room nights, from April through September. Shoulder season activity is key to the success of this proposal. In addition, we will be one of the few cities in the country with an arena and convention center in such close proximity, allowing us to compete for business not currently available to us. An arena will spur redevelopment in an area of our city that begs for a makeover. The facility will be a real amenity for our citizens and an additional reason for businesses to make our city their home. This is a wonderful opportunity that, if missed, will be gone for a generation. With sequestration and the prospect of declining defense spending, City Council's forward thinking on expanding existing industries is prudent. In 2014, the tourism industry had 6 million overnight visitors and generated $115 million in state and local tax revenue. It is safe to say that tourism matters to locals. Investing in venue development like the arena project supports the tourism industry and the overall health and vitality of our community. With millions being invested in the development of additional hotel properties at the oceanfront, in our opinion, there is nothing that will have a greater impact, a positive impact on Virginia Beach tourism than the arena. We wholeheartedly support the project and the proposed funding plan, and thank you for your time and attention.
Thank you very much for your comments tonight. Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Frank Patson, and then Pastor Jason Knight.
We welcome you back, sir.
How you doing, gentlemen? Are we having a wonderful evening?
We are.
I'm sure you are. Now, let there be no doubt in my mind that you people already approved this. But I want to point out a couple of things. I don't think any of you people ever lived in a city with an arena. Have you any? I have. And I've seen what arenas are like, and I've seen the benefits that they had, and I've seen the downfalls of what they had. People are talking about 500 rooms. That's only 10 a week. You know, if they said 5,000, that'd be different. But anyway, that's beside the point. This $500 million cost that is coming out of the taxpayers' money, that brings me to a question of, where did that come from? Because that wasn't anywhere that I saw anything, but somebody brought it up, and so I'm turning around just repeating it. But my concern is this. You plan on having 18,000 people arena. And I'm going to go for the benefit of the doubt and say it's a major success, because personally, I love an arena. I just don't like it where it is. Now, you talk about 18,000 people going to show up. Now, if 4 people in the car, that's 4,500 parking slots you're going to need. Where are you going to put 4,500 cars? Well, we got buses. We have parking. We have this. We have that. People are going to park wherever they can, whenever they can, wherever they can, and it's going to create a problem for people that live there. So they'll get over it. The next thing I want to bring out is, I know somebody said something about arenas not being on light rail not being here, but it is here. It is here. And my question is this. It shows an arena stop, a light rail stop at the arena. But it also shows that it comes from the south of 44 and not the north of 44. And I was under the impression that light rail was going to run through Hilltop. Well, I guess according to these prints, it's not, because if it was, it wouldn't be coming from that direction, because I don't know how it could go underneath 44, you know, from Hilltop, under 44 somewhere, and then come around to the south side of the arena, and then come up around and around arena and go down and wipe out 19th Street and 20th Street with this. And I got reservations, and it's something that somebody should have told us about. Anyways, I see a blinking light. I know I'm out of time, so I thank you very much for putting up with me, and I know you're all going to say yes, with the exception of maybe 1 or 2. Me personally, I think elevated light rail might have been a better way of going. But
Great idea. Thank you, sir.
Pastor Jason Knight, and then Charles Payne.
Pastor, we welcome you tonight.
Honorable Mayor Sessions, all council persons who are here, first off, we just want to thank you for your grace, your patience for what has taken place thus far. It has been interesting for all of us. I come to speak on behalf of Mount Olive Baptist Church, the church that will be directly affected by this arena project, and also to speak on behalf of the people that don't have a voice. Those ones that live in the areas of Friendship and off Americus and Atlantis and just the surrounding SeaTech community. I oppose this arena because all it takes is one moment to happen that will be a public relations nightmare for this city. One moment. We've already had one where a plane has gone down. And could you imagine an arena full, 15,000 people, possibly 18,000 people, and the plane has nowhere to go? Pilot ejects and that plane goes down and hits that arena. That's a public relations nightmare. Could you imagine Pink being here and we let out and a 95-year-old grandmother has a heart attack right there on Americus, right near 19th Street. Because of the traffic and the dense population there, no ambulance, no fire truck, nobody can get to her. The call has been made, family is crying, and everybody's hoping that somebody can get there, but they can't, because there's too many cars, it's too small. It's not enough space. That's a public relations nightmare. My main concern about this arena is public safety. I care about the people in SeaTech. I care about the people in Virginia Beach. I care about everyone here. That's the heart of a pastor. And I care about people. And my concern is, when this arena deal was put together, did we do the due diligence in public safety that we should have done? Did we really look at the impact this would make to those who live in SeaTech? Again, I hear all the great things that will come of it, and we all know there'll be great and wonderful things that will come from this arena. We all know that. But the location of it, it bothers me. It bothers me, not just for the sake of my church, but for the sake of the people there. That if something were to happen, and it's not a matter of if, it's only a matter of when. When it happens, will the traffic be able to move like it should move? Will emergency vehicles be able to get to where it needs to get to? So I strongly urge this council to just strongly consider even the more the public safety aspects of this arena. And as I got a couple of seconds left, we all know that this is for redevelopment and new companies will come and new businesses and great opportunities will come. We don't have the space for it now. That means we have to create space. How will we create that space around that arena that will benefit everybody? There's a 121-year-old church that I pastor that is a fixture in that community that is really concerned about whether or not we will be there for the years to come.
Thank you, Pastor.
No problem. Thank you.
Next speaker, please.
Charles Payne.
We welcome you tonight, sir.
Good evening, Mayor Will and members of council and others. My name is Chuck Payne. I'm a member of the Mayor's Veterans Affairs Committee, and I am obviously a veteran of the 101st Airborne U.S. Army. I rise tonight to speak. I signed up to speak about the arena project and how it relates to the Veterans Memorial. But before I do that, I'd like to commend John Moss for the incredible research and analysis and thoughtfulness that you put into your remarks earlier. I think it would be beneficial to the city if, when we're going to have a major project and a member of council is going to come out with that kind of thoughtful, thorough research and analysis, that somebody on the other side who sits on council have an equally thoughtful, well thought out and well researched rebuttal, so the public can hear both sides and not just get votes and not know why they voted the way they did. That said, let me move on to why I'm here. A lot has been said about the arena project, and I don't need to repeat any of it. I do want to say I hope and pray that it's built and it succeeds, because it's going to be such a boon in so many ways. Virginia Beach has always and for a long time now enjoyed high rankings as one of the best places to live and best places to own a business. We've got to keep it that way. That means we need visionary people like Garcia Enterprises and like Bruce Thompson, who see a bigger, brighter, more upscale Virginia Beach than most of us can conceive. And I applaud that. I pray that it succeeds. My only concern has already been expressed, is the financing. And I would hope that Ann and her legal counsel and auditors and so forth, Ann Kilmer, I mean, will take a hard look at finding a syndicate of domestic U.S. banks to finance this project. I've been involved as a practicing attorney in international domestic consortiums of banks for international transactions. I know it can be done. I hope and pray that they can do it, so we will not need foreign money. Finally, I want to commend Ann Kilmer, because she is committed from ESM Enterprises money, $500,000 for improvements to the Veterans Memorial. And that has not been mentioned, and I want her to know, I want the public to know, I'm commending her for that. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, sir.
John Gilchrist, did he arrive? That's all the speakers.
Thank you very much. I'll now go to the public hearing for the transfer of property, land, and improvements on 19th Street to the VBDA.
We have two speakers, Barbara Messner and George Mims.
We welcome you back, ma'am.
Could I please read without you interrupting me?
Ma'am?
Could I please read without you interrupting me? This is my free, thank you. Okay, I assume this transfer of land on 19th Street is part of the arena, the 5.8 acres. It went from 5 acres to 5.8 to the economic development, and they lease it to the developer for 60 years. How can you guarantee that access to the Veterans Memorial Park will be honored? I attended the meeting at the convention center, and it's been my understanding from everything I've read that the developer will have total control over the arena and that land. We're leasing that land. And for the record, from 2004 to 2014, the City of Virginia Beach has been paying several outside law firms, including Wilcox Savage. I believe Mr. Stiles used to work for them. Billy Harrison, ex-councilman Billy Harrison used to work for them. And the person sitting in Mr. Spore's seat, our deputy city manager, you just came from Wilcox Savage in 2013, right? No, then I apologize, that's what was on your bio, LinkedIn. I oppose the transfer of their land to a private developer. This land was taken by eminent domain abuse for parking for the convention center. And Mr. Moss, that gentleman was correct. You gave an excellent speech earlier tonight, and you opposed some public-private partnerships. But you and Bobby Dyer seem to think this isn't a public-private partnership. And Ms. Henley, thank you for your comments. You're very quiet tonight, but you've given excellent comments on your concerns. And I hope the three of you will be the votes that we need so we don't have to subsidize this project. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Next speaker.
George Mims.
Mr. Mims, we welcome you back, sir.
Getting a little bit too old for this. 10:24 tomorrow morning, and I will turn another digit on my age.
Well, happy birthday to you ahead of time.
Just as a note, and I'll touch on this land issue. We talk about public-private. Many here are not from here, so they wouldn't know. The first public-private partner for Virginia Beach was SeaTac, 1906. We were a self-sufficient community, had our own building and everything, the craftsmen. We built the town of Virginia Beach. We stuck with Virginia Beach when it became a city in the year I was born. The city of Virginia Beach and myself was the same age, 63. But after we come through all of that, through years of unfortunate segregation, made beds we couldn't sleep in, cooked food we couldn't eat in the dining room. Then it come around to the thing called the eminent domain that she just referenced to. And unfortunately, as presiding officer for the SeaTac Community Civic League, some of our board members' land, their family land from their mother and father was taken on the eminent domain. And at that time, this city told the court that it was for public parking lot. Now here we are taking the public parking lot that was taken from eminent domain from black citizens of SeaTac after we gave our historical best. And now it's flipping it, initially 40 years, $1 a year, to private. And it's a maybe and a might and a hope that at the end of that 40 years, everything worked out all right. So obviously, as the presiding officer for the SeaTac Community Civic League, after all we have given our utmost best and to find ourselves as we walk through the valley of the shadow of arrogance and greed, we have nothing to stand on but Philippians 4, 8, and 9. Whatever true, whatever honest, do. And the God of peace will be with thee. and I stand on Psalms 37, wisdom poem for the unbeliever, bandage for our wounded heart. That although these things are done to us as though we do not exist, no matter how much we've given to help Virginia Beach be what it is. If it's a great city, my ancestors that's been here 120-some years, we gave. I don't think this is too fairly given back. It should remain what it was taken to be, public parking lot.
Thank you, sir. Any other speakers?
All the speakers, sir.
Thank you very much. Council, I think we've gotten through everything but the appointments now. Mr. Vice Mayor?
Mayor, I'd like to nominate to the Historical Review Board, Mr. John M. Balio and Mr. William M. Walsh, Jr.
Do I hear any other nominations? Hearing none, I'll call for the question, please.
My vote is 11-0. You have appointed those named by the Vice Mayor.
Is there any unfinished business?
One item if I could. I don't know if it's unfinished, maybe it's new business, but you can tell me which it is. But one of the things, that's in our arena proposal is we're not using any money from the unrestricted general fund. When we have our vote next week, if there's no objection, I think it would be good to have a resolution that just codifies that that's in fact true. I mean, that's when I go out and tell people out in the community.
I don't have a problem with that.
I think that makes people feel better, and if there's no objection, I think that would be a good measure.
Anybody object to that? We can do that. So you
Thank you
got that
much.
one and the thing for the vets. Is there any new business? If folks don't go anywhere, we're going to adjourn. Is there anybody?
No speakers, sir.
And we have no speakers, we'll adjourn. Thank you, thank you.